we are a very defined way of dealing with the crisis. Because there is what we call National Security and Advisory Committee. And I was chairman of that committee. And then the other members were people like the military chief, the chief of general staff, the commissioner of police, PS of security, PS for home affairs, office of the vice president, and PS foreign affairs, and also attorney general. So this team comprises very capable people. And when a country is in crisis, that's where matters are discussed first. So the president is advised. He's advised either directly or through the Minister for National Security, or through ours it was an advisory committee, then there is a National Security Committee.
And what advice did you give in as far as ending the violence was concerned?
The issue of the violence was, first of all, there was a lot of call it, insecurity in the Rift Valley particularly. Because violence was not all over the country. A lot of it was in the Rift Valley, a lot of which was some sections in Nairobi, and also some sections in the coast. So we had to address the underlying issues. We make sure that we hold the country together. We should not take any action that is likely to widen the divide between Kenyan communities. Our responsibility first is to make sure that people are together. The other one is to minimize sufferings of the people. So we created 3 committees. One for, which was dealing with port issues. There were a lot of blockages of roads and water. You could not drive from where I sit, Western Kenya, or to Rift Valley because there are roadblocks by trucks. So we made sure those roads are open throughout, and communications is maintained during the crisis. The other committee was dealing with the humanitarian aspect. Those who are thrown out of their houses, they have to be housed, they have to be given food, or what have you. And the other committee was to assess the damage which was being caused, so that we are in control of the situation, we can manage the situation. So those committees worked these are committee of permanent secretaries. The other issue that which we did, which was very important, is to make sure that in places where there was violence, if there was violence in the Rift Valley, we don't control that violence with the Kalenjin police. Because if you use the Kalenjin police in the Rift Valley, they can very easily support they could be tempted to be more sympathetic with their community. So we said, Kalenjins out of Rift Valley, police. Kikuyus out of Rift Valley, so that we get other people who are neutral, who are not involved in the conflict. And it worked very well, very well. The same thing in all these areas where we had, ethnic clashes. We do not want any group to feel that they are being sent people who they are fighting with. And it is a system which worked. The other thing that I think also worked very well when we were in that condition, we said in the final analysis, we want to bring down, once we eliminate violence, we want to make sure that things, normality restored very quickly. That's why I said we are...
Which was not the case, Ambassador, if you remember the timelines. It was until Kofi Annan came and there was a handshake on the steps of Harambee House that for the first time violence stopped.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that at that time, when Kofi Annan came, actually, it was almost the tail end. It was at the end.
But violence went right on to until the day.
Yeah, but by that time everything was almost under control. What happened is that, even to mobilize police takes time. To mobilize and to make sure that you have adequate numbers. I remember at that time, we had even, we started emergency recruitment of police. And the time duration for recruitment of police was reduced from 9 months to 6 months. We realized we didn't have enough policemen, to manage those type of crises. So we were able to double even the number of policemen within a very short time. I'm trying to tell you some of the measures that we are taking. They may appear they were not quite immediate, but in terms of decisions and the purpose, they were quite immediate. And the other thing that was that was done at that time, which I think was very important, is to make sure that if we and the politics, the political antagonism, too much political antagonism in some of these areas, we know those political antagonism can cause us much more problem. So, in effect, we started working as the advisory committee with what one may call neutral or sober group in those communities, so that the messages of the government can be understood. We work them closely.
Yeah.